It's December 2021 and the Supercar season has come to an end. But the man who joins me is Mr. Will Davison. Hello, Willie.
Hey, Tom.
How are you, mate?
Good. Thank you. Good to be home. It's been long end of the year, so finally back home in Queensland.
So, yeah, 5 events in 6 races. How does that happen and how do you go about that?
Yes, definitely the first time we've done anything like it. So nothing's normal at the moment in the world. So I think everyone's just dug in and done what's required to get the season completed. So looking back, it was certainly a very unusual set of circumstances, but a really memorable trip, memorable journey. Just a massive commitment from everyone involved. The teams in particular, it's quite a special thing just to see the workload they all put in and the logistics of making that happen. Not just the sheer workload being away from family and friends, but the preparing and servicing of cars on the road, the toing and froing with getting spares back and forth, particularly doing 4 on the trot and then having to prepare for a week for the biggest race of the year at Bathurst is no mean feat, the preparation that goes into that event and all doing it away from your factory. So, it's been a really full-on experience. I've really enjoyed it. Like, it's not unusual. I probably would rather not do it again, but a lot of positives out of it and lots of racing. And we all probably grew closer together as a team because of the experience.
So Bathurst eventually finished 10th, but I suppose that doesn't really tell the story of the day, does it?
No, it definitely doesn't. So I suppose to finish the year on that note, wasn't the ideal circumstance or situation, but that is Bathurst, actually, believe it or not. Although I know that going in, and I every year force myself not to get ahead of myself because it is such an unpredictable race, and it really does create dreams, and it also tears your heart out because it does mean a lot to everyone, but it's also the most unpredictable event we do all year where things can just go against you, and it's so cruel because we all get excited for that race and prepare for it and talk about it more than any other event. And to have a day like we did Sunday was it's a bit soul destroying. I feel like we performed well. I didn't put a foot wrong. Like, I didn't make a single mistake all day. I drove as hard as I could. Same with Alex. And just the strategy element at that place, when it's not your day, it's not your day. And obviously double stacking behind our teammate on a couple of occasions is a disaster. And sometimes you can recover from it. I'd done that, I think, the first time and then had to double stack again. And it was a very fast-paced race. There's more and more quick cars every year. It's getting harder and harder to pass. So the old days of just being on the lead lap with 30 to go, it's not the case anymore. Track position's important, and we just lost crucial track position, and that was that. I fought really hard to get back into contention on a couple of occasions, and thought maybe our luck was turning, and it wasn't to be, with another little penalty in the last pit stop as well. So definitely tried our hardest, and we can hold our head high knowing we did that.
So 2021, back in the full-time main game after a year on the sidelines. 9 podiums, 2 poles, and
10 podiums, Tommy.
10 podiums. Okay, fine. Sorry, I couldn't count. 2 poles, a couple of wings that got away, and 4th in points. So how do you look back on the season?
No, I look back on the season, positively. Definitely positively. So, I sit here, 12 months on where, I just got the new deal announced. I was super excited, but I'd sat a whole year out and, got to keep everything in perspective. So, I think if a year ago I'd said this is what my results would be for the year, you'd take it. Regardless of sitting out a season, joining a new team is always difficult. To perform at your peak week in, week out in this category and challenge for a championship, it's very hard to do joining a new team. There's just so many new little elements that take a bit of adjusting. And that's the nature of this sport right now. To win at this sport takes an incredible, gelling of man and machine and personnel, really, of knowing each other. So, yeah, I think we performed well. We performed incredibly consistent all year. We were fast all year long. And there were times when we as a team were, 1-2 on the track, on the grid, in race results, lots of podiums. So we were there all year long, very consistent in qualifying and the race. Just need to unlock that little bit more, which is, all part of what we'll analyse at the end of the season and build on for next year. But I think, I think it's all to play for going into next year, hitting the ground running, having a bit of time to look at our strengths and weaknesses in the off season now. And, we definitely know there's tracks where we are bang on the quickest cars. There's a few probably like Bathurst where, we've got a few things we can understand to be better for. So, as a whole, though, it's been a good year. I'm happy with myself, the way I've executed, used my experience to get good results, and I want to take the next step next year. So we had a few wins get away from us. That was a little bit hard to take, but that's part and parcel of the sport. So it's been an exciting year and only motivates me more for next year.
Yeah. So going into next year, for the first time in a long time, you'll carry on the same engineer 1 year to the next for the first time in a long time. What learnings do you take out of this year that you'll try and put into place for 22?
Yeah, I mean, that's really important step. And just knowing each other, now we can take time to have a breather and, really go through our year and just analyse what we can do better. There's no magic. At the end of the day, we know each other now as a team and drivers, engineers, and we know what now in this off season we need to work on. Whereas this time last year, we had no idea what we needed to work on in the car. So that's just from a driver, like what we need to work on, adjusting to the car, and what you can focus on, and vice versa, how we can meet in the middle. So it's more, the more you know each other, the more, information doesn't get lost in translation, if you know what I mean. Like, we're always talking, we always get on well, but it's actually knowing that the information you're translating to each other is understood accurately, instead of misunderstanding and maybe making the wrong decision or the wrong change, or and that's just part of the learning, like I said, and that's where you get stronger during the year. So, we have a good off season now to understand each other and plot our plan for attack for next year.
So did you drive the Gen 3 at Bathurst?
I did, yes. Yeah. I drove that on the Friday, maybe.
So give us a bit of insight into what it felt like.
No, it was cool and exciting, actually. But I won't lie, I mean this... I mean this on a positive front, but like the second you get in the car, it was not a supercar. And I don't mean that in a bad way, although I think our supercars are got a particular DNA about them. For however many years I've been driving them, I always sit in them, and it's exciting. They're all a bit different. Each team does things a bit different, and they've got a real specific DNA to them. And I love the way they're built, and engineered and designed. And I got in this car, very cool, very exciting, because it was very, very different. But it didn't feel like a supercar. It felt completely different. But that's exciting too. You've got to embrace change, but we want to keep that DNA the same. That's part of the ongoing discussions at the moment. So, very trick bit of kit though, like well designed. The teams have done a nice job getting the cars running, and engine. First thing you notice, engine, very, very different feel, very different note. Sounded fantastic inside the car. Very torquey. Actually, you could really feel the torque in the low RPM, the way the car would pull and spin the wheels. A lot less downforce. So even over the crest at Mountain Straight, the car burst into wheel spin over the rise like the old days. So the cars will move around a lot more yeah, they felt quite nice. Besides that, it's very, very early days, but I think they're going to be a real beast.
Exciting, very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So what's on deck now? You've got a few months to the next race, which I think is March in Newcastle, where we start 2022. What do you got planned for the next 3 months?
We'll just unpack my suitcase because that's been living out of that for a few months, and staying local for Christmas, which is great, and got family coming up, and just spending some time with the family, and nothing too major planned. Just going to have a bit of time away from it all. So when we all sort of get back into the swing around mid-January, it's going to be full steam ahead. So, I'm looking forward to that, but just recharge the batteries a bit, up here on the Gold Coast, and we'll do a few little weekend trips here, there and everywhere. Try and get across to Perth if we can to see Rihanna's family, but that's very much dependent on the borders. So looking forward to seeing my mum and dad and spending Christmas all together with my brother and stuff. So it's going to be good, and just see the friends and hang out, and that's it. Recharge to give it a big push next year.
Well, proud of you, mate. Well done on 2021. 11 years of the Doric Will Davo partnership, and
absolutely,
we'll be back again in 2022 for another crack at Supercar Championship. You
betcha, Tommy. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Doric, and thanks for a great year. It's been awesome, and next year's going to be even better.
Happy holidays, mate. Thank you.
Happy holidays. Cheers.